So Jim with Southern Car Parts here, and I'm going to show you a foolproof method to calibrate your curb alert. You can use this method on any car, whether it be a Corvette, BMW, whatever the case may be, but it's a real easy way to calibrate your curb alert. So the only thing you need to do this process is a large box, a tape measure, an installed curb alert on any vehicle, and then the empty curb alert box. Okay, so the first step that you're going to do is with the car off, you're going to want to take the curb alert sensor. Well, first off, stretch a tape measure out. Do it about 30 or 40 inches out from the front of the car where your curb alert is installed. Take the sensor and angle it straight up, so it's perfectly parallel to the ground now. We're going to adjust this later, but get it angled out just about perfect, straight out. And then set a box, a large box, any box, roughly about 19 to 20 inches out in front of the field of view of the curb alert sensor. Once you get that in place, we're going to go in and start the car, and then we're going to put the curb alert in the calibration mode, and this is going to set the distance that the curb alert will detect an object away from the front of the car. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start the car. We've got the box in front of the sensor, and then once we start the car, we're going to go in and press the calibration button, which is a little red button on the side of the curb alert control module. We're going to press it until we either hear it beep, it'll beep once, or it's going to go into a constant tone mode. Either one of those is adequate, and either one means that the distance to the box has now been set. So I'm going to start the car. Come on over here. Okay, the car started. Then I'm going to reach inside the glove box where I have the control module mounted and press the calibration button. Okay, I'm going to press the calibration button, and you hear it beep. That means the distance is now set, and now it went into a constant tone. Either one is fine, the beep or the constant tone. Now we can go back to the box. We move the box away from the sensor, the beeping stops. Now go back to the car so they can hear. If I move the box in front of the sensor at the 20-inch mark, I'm going to start at about 25 inches and move my way in, and you'll hear the curb alert, now that it's in calibration mode, you'll hear it go off when it gets to the 20-inch mark. So here we go. I'm at 30 inches, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. And you hear the constant tone? That means our distance is now set for 20 inches out. If you want to change that, move the box, simply turn the car off, move your box in, which we'll go ahead and do. Turn the car off, let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then we'll set the box at say 18 inches or 17 inches. Turn the car on, press the calibration button. You may get 2 beeps, 1 beep, you may get a constant tone, but either way that means your curb alert is now set for that new distance. So now we're going to move it in and set it for about 17 inches, which is ideal for most cars, 15 to 17 inches. That'll prevent false alerts, and that'll give you accurate readings on the curb. So we'll let the car sit for 10 minutes, and I'm going to reset it for 15 inches out. Okay, so we've let the car sit for 10 minutes. The curb alert should be out of calibration mode. I'm going to set my box up again, starting the same process over. I'm going to put it at the 16-inch mark, right in front of the sensor. Sensor's still pointed parallel. Start the car. Wait for the curb alert to chirp 3 times. Make sure it's powered up. Chirp. Press the calibration button. You hear it beep. Do it one more time just for the heck of it. Beep. The distance is now set on the curb alert. Hear it go constant tone. That means it's now detecting the box at 15 inches. Pull the box away, tone stops. Come back in, I start sliding the box in, and it should go off at about 15 inches. You should be able to hear that. Right on the money. Exactly 15 and a half inches out. The curb alert is now set to alarm at 15 inches out. Move the box. This is where it gets easy. The last step, this is the approximate height of a curb. Bring it in front of the car. Bring it into about your 15-inch mark where you set it before. You may have to go about an inch closer, 14, 15 inches. Go to 15 inches. And now take the sensor, curb alert's still in calibration mode, take the sensor and start angling it down towards the top of the box. Right there. So now if you go around to the front of the car real quick, you should be able to hear the constant tone going off. Now the curb alert is calibrated for height and distance. It's calibrated for height and distance. And poop the box away, cone stops. Here comes your curb approaching. Slide it in, 17, 16, 15. It's going off right at about the 13 and a half, 14 inch mark. Go back. You can also check the height doing this. Put the tape measure at your 14 inch mark. See how high you're calibrated? Bring your box up here and then slowly bring it down. And it's going off exactly, come around here. It's going off exactly at the 4 inch mark, 4 inches height. So we now have the curb alert calibrated for about 14 and a half, 15 inches out and a 4 inch curb height. One more time. Box is coming down. Hear the tone? 4 inches. There's your curb. Right there. That still gives you about 14 inches to stop. And as long as you don't race up on the curb at 50 miles an hour, you'll be perfectly fine. The last thing you do is all calibrated. So the last thing you do is turn the car off, let it sit for 10 minutes, it'll come out of calibration mode, and then do a final test with the box with the curb alert in normal alert mode, meaning that you turn the car on, it gave you 3 chirps, and then we'll do that, then we'll test the curb alert just to make sure everything's calibrated correctly. Test of the curb alert, the car's sat for 10 minutes. We're going to go ahead and use the curb alert box as our simulated curb. The car's powered on, the car's on, the curb alert's on, it already gave us 3 chirps letting us know it's armed. So here comes the simulated curb. About 25 inches out from the car. They're sliding in, the curb's approaching, 16, 15. There's the alert going off. 3 beeps. One more time. There comes the curb. So this method here is a foolproof way to calibrate your curb alert, and will minimize false alerts, and will give you a lifetime of use out of your curb alert mini unit. One last thing is you will get an occasional alert when you go up a steep driveway or hill. That's going to sometimes set the curb alert off, but for the most part, you shouldn't have any false alerts and be curb free for the rest of the time you're in your car. Thanks a lot.